Before I actually get started with the review, I need to mention that these three Orient TriStars are not presented in their original form. The flat mineral crystals they came with have been removed and replaced with either a domed acrylic or a double domed mineral crystal. The two black dial Orients came with the same shitty bracelet. Folded links, hollow end links, folded clasp. The white Orient arrived with this Croco gator embossed leather band, in desperate need of a taper, with a cheap feel and look. But I'm okay with all of this. If the original bracelet were solid steel with a milled clasp, they would cost more. And if these watches came with sapphire crystals, I would not have been able to purchase these for less than $100 each. If this is your first time watching the Dapper Wrist, my name is Jay, with the only channel on YouTube primarily featuring the best in affordable dress watches better suited for the smaller wristed. The white dial Orient reference number FAB0000LW9 was purchased in January 2020 for $74.98 with an additional $9.99 for shipping from Joma Shop. The Breguet style Arabics and gilt combination of applied logo, name, 3 stars, framed date window, and pencil handset give the watch a classical formal aesthetic. But its original flat mineral crystal wasn't helping the cause, so that had to go. Courtesy of a $10 double domed mineral crystal with blue anti-reflective coating, the watch now has the subtle sophistication it was missing. I knew the double dome would elevate it visually. What I did not expect, how the blue AR would quiet the bright white dial with a light beige tinge. The dial is now warmer, making it less jarring and more inviting. It's the watch it should be. The black version, reference number FAB000009B9, was purchased at a swap meet local to the Los Angeles area. Clearly still new with its tag and original bracelet, the watch was missing its box and papers. And because of that, I was able to haggle a $50 price tag. And even though I already had the white version, at $50, it was a no-brainer. The 37mm case width and 42.6mm lug-to-lug length make the watch ideal for my 6 1/4 inch wrist. And on this modded double dome mineral crystal, the watch is 12.6mm tall. The lug width is the dreaded 19mm size, but I'm not tripping. Strapco has some good options, as you can see. Moreover, its original bracelet looks pretty good on my vintage Winton now reference 6007. When you buy enough watches like I do, eventually each bracelet, each strap, it's going to find its rightful home. The copper printed Arabics have a very lockable font. Unfortunately, the printing is in a matte finish. And because it has a flat black dial, the numbers will fade into the dial in various angles. If only the Breguet numerals were applied, this watch would be elevated and its visibility much improved. And with that in mind, I searched the internet and found this beauty, the Orient FAB0000DB9. Purchased off a seller on eBay for $82.78. I was right about the applied hour markers making it easier to read. But in all fairness, this is not an apples to apples comparison. Gone are the matte Breguet numerals and the flat black dial. Instead, we have gold polished beveled hour batons with a split line on the 12, 6, and 9 hour markers. But there's more. The dial is horizontally planked and glossy. It gives it a visually wavy complexity. Now, I was expecting the dial to be more animated, but I'm glad it's not. It only seems to come to life in certain angles. It's an effect that can seem tacky, but because it's not visible at all times, it's less gimmicky and more surprising. And if I were better at lighting and cameras, I'd get a better picture, so bear with me. Circular brushing on the front of stainless steel case with a soft polished bevel separating the vertical brushing on the sides. The screw-on case back houses the F4902 movement. The in-house caliber has 40 hours of power reserve. It doesn't hack. And I believe it has a BPH of 21,600. The pull-push crown tucked in at the 3 o'clock position is 4.4 millimeters small. The sizing of the Orient logo, the twin lions propping up the O shield is on point, visible to the naked eye. Unlike this Orient, my SEM 78002DB. Now, what's the point of having an applied logo that's hard to see? Printed below the applied 3 stars are the word crystal and 21 jewels. And I got no clue as to what the word crystal is referring to. I took it as a hint towards replacing its original crystal. And that's exactly what I did. This time, I opted for a high dome acrylic crystal to better coincide with its vintage design. The lume is not worth mentioning, and if the straps looks familiar, it's because it came off my gold Zodiac Olympus. A pretty good match if you ask me. As an affordable watch collector, I've accepted that sacrifices when it comes to specs is to be expected. Every potential purchase, especially for those under $100, is weighed on a different scale. I can't afford to be the kind that's gonna pass on a watch simply because it lacks a sapphire, or the links are hollow with a folded clasp. There's small gems like these 3 Orient TriStars that with a little tweaking and modding will become diamonds. And until the next Dapper Wrist video, don't sleep on leveling your inexpensive dress watch. Why should dive watches be the only ones to have all the fun?